Okay. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us on WordPress Accessibility Day. My name is Devin Egger. I'll be hosting the last three sessions here. Thanks for joining us. Up next, we've got a awesome presentation that I am very excited for. Boost up conversions with accessible e-commerce. It's going to be presented by Anamika Bovalet, accessibility and possibility advocate, anabovalet.edu, and Lazar Bulatovich, blind public speaking coach at Global Speak, and Picha Neri, designer, speaker, educator, and accessibility advocate at Design for Conversions. Thanks for joining us and looking forward to this next one.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, we're on.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, would you like me to take the lead, Picha?
Yes, go ahead, Anne.
All right.
You're the best at this. You're the best at this.
Oh, but not good enough by far. But we're learning all the time, right? So, I just hear that. I just read that Devin said you forgot to say things about questions. Devin, would you like to say something about questions? No, okay. I think people can ask questions at the end of the session. So Devin already introduced us. Today, we are with Lazar, who is a very experienced screen reader user. And we would like to show how you can boost up your conversions by making your web shop accessible, or especially why this is so important, and that it's not rocket science if you really think about it. And this, of course, has a lot to do with the design, and it has a lot to do with coding and content, as always. And one of the things that I would like to achieve today is that by seeing how Lazar experiences web shops when they work or when they don't work, that you can see where the glitches really are. And it's unfortunate we would have had Antonio Carreras with us today. Unfortunately, in the end, something stopped him from being here. We're really sorry. We hope to having him on next time. But whereas the development part goes, I will try to explain as much as I can. Now, Lazar is the world's first and only blind speaking coach. He's going to tell some more about his work. And Picha is a wonderful, experienced designer, very strong in typography, which is incredibly important also for accessibility, and a very experienced designer. And she's also one of the people who can tell you that you can really create very colorful, very smashing designs for people who can't see. So that a site will also be attractive to people who are not blind or have visual troubles. And I will say more about what you can do code-wise and design-wise, whereas design is something technical to make something navigable. Yeah. Did I forget something, Picha, Lazar?
No. So one of the reasons why it's nice to have you start, Anne, is so that you could flatter us so much. Thank you very much for that. And so let me just say that you are also an amazing designer, and I am learning so much from you because you're also very code-minded. So you teach me all the time, and I think that you're a very good example for the community at large of someone who really understands design but also understands development, and you always do your best to actually properly get ourselves in the shoes of someone who experiences the web and the world differently from us. Because there's one thing, and then Lazar, I think you can probably confirm this. It's so interesting how if something is far from our experience, it doesn't exist. I was actually reading about this yesterday. So I think there's only a few of us have actually an idea of how the web is experienced by someone who uses a screen reader. And I am learning so much from Lazar, and the experience is really interesting in so many ways. But I think that we should go into it now and see, because there are so many more observations that will come up as we go through it.
Well, the thing you just mentioned, Pitcha, is very interesting because since I started, well, let's say being part of the accessibility community, which happened, let's say, on May or April this year. So I was like shocked, and on one side, and on the other hand, amazed how people are not aware of the things that are related to using the web and web experience from the perspective of a totally blind and a screen reader user. And ever since my first call with Maya Lončar from Belgrade, hopefully she is following this stream. If you are Maya with us, then hello, yeah, good to speak here. So yeah, everyone was amazed, like, no, we never seen that before. How does it work? But like, I have been using the web like this, and it's not only me, it's like hundreds of thousands of blind users around, like, since, in my case, it's been since 2004.
Wow.
And I don't know for some other different ways. So that's natural to me. This is how I live. So this is what I do every day. And for me, it's nothing strange. So, like, okay, this website is not accessible, or it's not the most accessible one on Earth. No problem. Let's try to do something about that. For example, if the web shop is not accessible, I can call someone who is sighted. If that does not work as well, I can definitely figure it out. So, but yeah, definitely accessibility is a huge topic, and I'm happy to be here and try to, well, open some avenues for each of you.
It's so wonderful that you're with us today, Lazar. I'm really grateful that you are, and I'm also so grateful to Maya Lončar from GoDaddy Pro who introduced us all. And yeah, I think we're going to have a great session. Now, to what you were saying, like that it was surprising for you to see that so few people are aware. I was one of those people up until 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And this is also one of the messages I'd love to bring across. People, perfect is the enemy of good. So when you are getting into accessibility now, and you learn, like, there is so much to learn, don't be demotivated because of that, because you'll see an avalanche of information coming towards you. Just chop it up in small sections and you will be doing fine. Yeah,
Exactly.
What was that like for you, Pitcha? I mean, we are on a panel. Let's talk about what it was like.
So for me, I'm the same as you. I started becoming aware of this thing called accessibility. I mean, fully aware and championing it, a bit like you, like a couple of years. But before then, I mean, I used to be just a full-on creative designer. I'm still creative, but I do different things now. So when you're a creative designer, you're actually striving to make things as cryptic as possible often, because that's not what the marketing department asks for. So you're trying to be really clever. And on the web, what we need to do is be really, really helpful. It's the opposite. So that's why I think it's so valuable that we experience Lazar. And this time we have Lazar, and next time maybe someone who has a different experience, because there are so many different ways of experiencing the web, and it's just different. It's all that it is. And I think that's the biggest mentality shift that needs to happen, is that there isn't a right way or a wrong way or a normal way, that word. It's just different ways of experiencing. So, and I love the fact that we decided that we were going to use the Tesco website, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because you have on Anne's site, there's a really useful article on Tesco. Tesco is a supermarket in the United Kingdom who invested in disability as early as the early 2000s, wasn't it? I think it was So, and they were already trading online. It was already normal. I lived in London at the time. It was normal to do your shopping online. Well, relatively normal. It was normal for me to do your shopping online. But they researched what they needed to do to get accessible. And when they implemented the changes that they needed to make, their sales skyrocketed. And I think the return on investment was 37,000%. Anne, was that
Yes,
was
I had to run that through a calculator because
yeah,
they invested £35,000 and they got £13 million annual additional turnover. And I'm very naive where calculations come from, so I would divide 13 million by that number minus the investment. And then I thought, oh yeah, okay, that's really cool, until I got it into a return on investment calculator, and I was like, okay, this is absolutely crazy. Now I'm insanely happy with this case, and I would give this case to anybody who wants to learn about accessible and accessible web shops, because we want to demo the site, or Lazar is going to demo that site, how we would use that site, because their accessibility efforts have been focused on screen reader users very strongly, I can tell. And of course, their content, they're doing things very well. But the great thing, and this is why this is such a fantastic case, we're also going to talk about what they could do more to boost their turnover, because they missed a lot of corners. And the site is great, and Lazar is probably going to say, this is fantastic, I could do all my Christmas shopping here, although you would have to move to the UK, I fear, Lazar. But yeah, they could, if they would invest in that again, and if they would invest into the design, it would become accessible in a much broader sense, because also this is where usability, accessibility, and being attractive really, because people tend to believe, if it has to be accessible, it can't be visually attractive. It's not true. And I know we have one of the sessions in WP Accessibility Day is about it. Yeah. So Lazar, would you like to tell us more about what your experience is like on Tesco? Have you tried to register, or would you like to show us how it works?
Well, since we had a quick meeting on Friday, where you basically told me that everything should be showed for the first time. I will just do it. So basically, yes.
Do you mind if I comment in between, so I can comment in between on why it is?
If you don't mind, I might also butt in, because yeah, when we see
it. So it's www.
Tesco.com with a C. Tesco.
So T for Tango,
E for Edward, S for Simon,
C for Charlie,
C for Charlie, O for Open.com.
Okay. Okay, so Tesco Markets, super online recipes.
Okay. Can you make that full screen?
Yes. Do you see it now?
Yes. So yes. For me, subtitling verbally. For anyone who is new to this, what you are hearing,
it says you're offline.
You're not offline.
Oh God! God, no! Here is something terrible here.
The slider.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you pause this for a second?
Show this to any client who asks for a slider, please.
Yes.
It speaks randomly.
Yes.
That's
Rule
it.
number 1, if you want to have great conversion on
I
your
didn't
web shop,
expect this to happen.
can you stop it?
Okay, I will now turn off the speech so you can comment.
Thank you.
Okay,
Oh,
so there's a few
so-
things here. So there's, first of all, I don't know about you, but to me, when I listen to that, to the screen reader at the speed that Lazar uses, it's just extraordinary. I don't even, when we had our meeting, Lazar, I was like, is this speaking English or is it?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what language it was. And then I did notice that there was the slider, but I don't think you did. I think maybe you were already signed in, Lazar, maybe. So
Well,
you didn't.
I don't know what was the trick, but that worked correctly. Maybe they changed something in between. Anyway, yeah, I hear some crackings here. Anyway, yeah, this is what we have now.
Okay. So,
I know.
by being accessible to people who do not
It's a bit.
well, I mean, technically,
No.
area labels.
And we can't hear you that well.
Yeah, we
I
hear
don't know
some
if it's-
cracking.
Yeah. I don't know if
Okay.
it's you, Anne. Try and mute yourself, then we'll check if it's you. Yeah, it is you. Sorry.
I hear you crackling like crazy.
You're
too.
fine now. You're fine now.
I'm fine now. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gone now.
So,
It's gone.
okay, wonderful. So they're really, even if it is coded correctly and it has ARIA labels and all of it, this is actually being over-programmed in my opinion. And even the speed, I mean, for anybody who can see, you can see the speed of this slider is crazy. Now, I don't know anyone who is going to sit at his screen and watch what is on that slider. So this is horrific for people who can see and for people using screen readers and for people with cognitive issues like I do. I am ADHD on steroids every day. This would make me jump out of my skin. So,
Yeah.
and now to a possible solution. People, if you really, really, really wish to use something on your page that changes, don't use a slider. Create a post that changes every 2 minutes because you are the one who has to entice your potential buyer to return every now and then to come back. And that would be nice, wouldn't it? If you come back the next day and it suddenly says, oh, today we have this. And an hour later they come back, oh, today, and we also have that. You would achieve more by that. Okay, now, Picha, do you have any comments or improvement advice on this one?
Yeah, I just don't do it. I'm not diagnosed with anything in particular, and I'm motion sick because this slider has been going. And basically, have one call to action. Just decide. Don't. It's a slider is also indecisive. It means that you're not sure what you want to offer. What here we have now Call of Duty and reducing your risk of type 2 diabetes. Who are you talking to? Who is your audience? It's like they don't know anymore who they want to attract. So as we know that, you know, it's a big part of UX to just have a one clear call to action. You can change it every day if you have more than one type of audience, but don't do this. What are you going to convert? It's hardly there long enough for me to actually read and then click on the button. So yeah. Anyway, Lazar, let's go back to your experience.
Well, to be honest,
Lazar.
I did not expect this to happen, as I told you.
I did.
But anyway, especially when I heard your story, Anne. So I don't know what to think about this at the moment, but what I can say now that if this works like this, like what we have seen now, I can be very confident to say that online shopping on this website would be terrible here. I don't say it would be impossible, but that would be much more difficult than expected. What I can do now is I can show you the website. It's a store. It's a specially designed store for the blind. They sell special aids and equipment. So maybe that can improve the impression, so you can see what's like to be.
Yeah, Lada,
Can I
would like
ask?
that.
Yeah. Sorry, Anne, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm really curious though to know from you, Lazar. Can you skip when you realize that there's a slider that's not even making sense, saying things that make any sense? How easy is it for you to skip it to go to the content that you're interested in?
It's very difficult. I don't
Is
know
it?
if it's either possible. We have, especially if the slides are changing on every link I clicked, and also depends on frequency, because I think it happened on previous events that we tested one more website with similar issue, and I can remember that.
Yeah, oh yes, I remember that.
So
Now,
like
one of the reasons I would still like to stay on this website is because there are more things going on. And why? I mean, I really don't mean to hit on Tesco. If anyone from Tesco is watching this or not, I'm going to send the video to you people, because
definitely.
they did a fantastic job 20 years ago. They enable all of us nowadays to say to customers, well, accessibility, so the new thing. I'm like, nobody years old, not
You're crackling again, Anne.
second.
Let's try again.
Okay, let's try. Is this
Still happening.
really sorry? I 1,500 meters of sea.
It's still happening. I don't know why. Try. Okay. In the meantime, okay. So Anne, I'm gonna say what I think you. So you want to still try Tesco. So I guess now the point is, how do you, Lazar, circumvent the slider and actually get into the navigation? Maybe are you able to do that?
Menu bar list of free items. Link skip the main content. Link skip the footer. Start the countdown. Release list item. Menu bar offline. Menu bar. Menu item button. Store locator. Menu item button. Contact us.
Store locator.
Menu item, menu item.
I have to be faster than slide changing.
Menu select. Combo
Right. Okay. Wow.
Menu item. Menu button. Menu item. Menu button. Select. Menu item. Menu button. Select. Submenu. Text. Menu item. Menu button. Select. Submenu recipes.
So
Start the countdown. Release arrangements. Link
recipes,
back. Menu item button. Recipes. Rating.
recipes.
Menu item button. Menu item button. LT recipes. No next heading. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 lines and now. Menu button. No next heading.
I have to be very fast
Menu item. Menu item button. Menu item button.
Okay.
because otherwise it's
Button. Close menu. Link back.
So because we were going to ask you to maybe slow the screen reader down so that user for now that we've demonstrated how fast you use it, but again you can't do it because otherwise you can't beat the slider.
it's about the pace slidings are changing. And if you ask me what would be the best solution,
Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
maybe they could just add a simple shortcut at the beginning of the website,
Reducing your risk of type 2 media
Yeah.
discovery. Menu.
so I can like press something simple like Alt+1, and then that would exclude changing those slides.
Wow.
Everything
Hear
else
me?
could stay the
Okay.
same, I think.
Now, one thing here, that right in the beginning.
And it's just still not. No. So you were saying here in the chat that accessibility is a verb. It does not stop,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's like really crackling.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're like sparkling. You're like yeah.
It's like old records.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you're muted.
Okay, so
Maybe she can type her comments in the chat and you can read it to both of us so we can comment.
Yeah. So yes, and you wanna try and do that, and maybe maybe go out and come in again.
I have switched the connection.
That works.
Okay. Oh, that sounds good.
Yep.
That's great.
It was the connection, not my AirPods. Now, what I really wanted to say is accessibility is a verb. It means this has been created a long time ago, but to me it feels like it did not. And this is what I was trying to say. Keep thinking about how you can evolve your.
And she's now, Lazar, she's now freezed. Anne has now freeze. She's frozen now. She's in Switzerland, so that's apt. Well, one thing I wanted to ask you, Lazar, is
Yep.
I can see at the top of your screen you have the cookies notice.
Yeah.
Did you saw that? So
I think.
I mean, you saw that. You
I
heard
cannot-
that.
Well, look, basically, this is very, very difficult because when you have this slider moving around, everything becomes literally a nightmare. I don't know,
Right.
maybe there is, maybe there is not. But when they change so rapidly, I will tell you that I can't visit this website and I cannot interact with the website properly. Maybe some users could.
Wow.
But here, in my case, that's not the possible, at least today. So yeah, this is what
That's
we have.
incredible.
Yeah, but I would be happy to simply have a chat. So if anyone from Tesco is here or anyone else who is available to connect us with them, I'll be more than happy to chat with them and to show them what happens here.
So you're not able to even pause the slider. There's no way for you to pause the slider.
Is there a button?
There is a button. Yes, I can see that there is a button.
Talk. Out of menu bar, list of free links, skip the main content, link skip to out of offline.
How it's called?
Menu bar, menu item buttons, menu item button, store locator. Menu item button, contact us. Call of Duty, menu item button, help. Menu item button, my account. Out of menu bar, link graphic, Tesco, select. Combo box collects required groceries. Groceries. Search, reducing your search box, edit, button, collect, search. Menu bar, menu item, menu button, collect, sub menu, groceries. Menu item, menu button, collect, sub menu, live clothing. Start the countdown, menu item, menu button, menu item, menu button, menu item, menu item, menu button, collect, Tesco magazine button, menu, delivery saver button, no next button, no next button.
Where is
Call
the
of Duty,
button
out of
to
menu.
pause the slide?
Skip the main, skip the
It's there's a backwards. There's a slide that you're on. Dot that signifies which slide you're on, and there's a forward, and then there's a pause button.
Store locator, contact us, help button, menu item, my account button, menu item, Tesco home graphic link, select combo box, search box editor, search button, collect, menu bar,
Because otherwise, I'm thinking that
I think it's very difficult to find this button actually.
Tesco front bar, menu button,
Amber says try 2 tabs.
Tesco logo, menu button, collect, recipes, menu button, collect, sub menu, menu item, Tesco logo.
Like to open another tab with this website?
No, using the tab key.
Okay, I'm doing that.
Tesco
Two
magazine button,
more.
menu item.
Yeah, Tesco
Call of Duty, bottom one,
magazine,
delivery saver button, menu item.
delivery saver,
Sign in link,
sign in,
register link,
register,
graphic reducing your risk of type 2 diabetes, heading level 3 discovery.
reducing the risk, diabetes,
Viewing one of 3 items.
viewing one of 3 items. Maybe that's a slide.
Shop Christmas link.
Shop
Call of Duty, bottom one,
Christmas.
go backward to previous carousel item link.
Go backward to previous carousel.
Go forward to next carousel item
Go
link. Reducing your risk of
forward.
type, turn auto play of carousel
Yeah.
off link.
and that's it. You're on it.
Graphic reducing your risk of type 2 diabetes, heading level 3 discovery.
Yes.
2 diabetes with a free online tool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Find out more link.
Yeah, but this solution is a bit.
Yes.
List of free
Yeah.
Why you just just do a quick shortcut that would click this button.
Yeah. So we have a good question, in fact, from the audience. What is the best solution to make a slider accessible if the client insists on it? And they're asking, make it manual or slow down the autoplay significantly. So if you make it manual, I can guarantee that very few people are going to go through it. So what would be your suggestion, Lazar? The shortcut, as you were saying.
Yeah, the shortcut at the beginning that would allow me to toggle slider off and on.
Okay. So that's the best solution
Yeah, I think so.
to make it accessible. So basically, disabling the slider is making it accessible. So that just tells you that a slider just isn't
Yeah.
accessible.
And
Really.
I was going to talk about the focus states in this site in general. at a later stage because for the people who use keyboard navigation, we couldn't help you because we couldn't see where you were because the focus state was not visible to us.
Oh, yeah, that's a different layout. Mhm.
Yes, so this makes it difficult to begin with. So another tip, if you want to increase your conversion, make sure you have a great focus state. Now, one of the dangers in our profession is that we assume that everybody knows what focus state actually is. Now, you probably have installed a theme, and then you go to the theme support and say, I don't like those lines around my menu items. How can I remove those? Well, that, dear people, that is your focus state. Focus state is becoming active when when something becomes focusable. Links are focusable elements. Buttons are focusable elements. And if you do not like the lines around a focusable item, then style it and make sure that your styling is accessible, which means it has great contrast and that the styling is not interfering with anything else. It just has to be very, very clear because this, of course, is kind of dramatic. People who are depending on a screen reader and then ask someone else, can you please help me? And we can't help because not even us can see where the screen reader is at. So this will boost your conversions. Okay,
Yeah.
so now that we have managed it past this horrible slider, and of course someone asked what is the best solution to make a carousel slider accessible. Sorry, as far as I know, there is no comfortable accessible slider. And maybe you should tell your client that. It's like you go into a shop and there's this bad smell, someone stepped in dog poop before you, or the sewer is bad or whatever, and it's not really some conscious thing, but you are in this store and you're standing there and your brain starts churning and it's like, maybe I can get this somewhere else. Yeah, no, I'm not going to stay here. I can do this some other day. Boom, the customer is gone. And this is the same thing with accessible sliders. And of course, you can turn off things like autoplay. But I sincerely believe if you're asking me, how do I boost conversions in my web shop? The answer would be do not use a slider. But yeah, not using autoplay could be a possible solution. Someone has to be able to skip past something like this really fast.
Facebook has a very tiny and quality solution for this. When you just mentioned autoplay, so on page, whether you're using a web browser or a phone app, so they never play the video if they recognize that the screen reader is turned on. And as soon as the video starts, you just need to double click and click on unmute.
Is this in the Facebook website or is it in the Facebook app?
Both cases.
Okay, that's wonderful.
That's really good.
Yeah,
So,
but on LinkedIn, for example, you have to toggle this setting, I think.
wow. So one thing that I'm interested now that we are finally in, the slider has stopped. So can we now see, Laza, whether, if you were to do your Christmas shopping, how difficult it gets from here?
Well, let's see what we can do. So I pressed Control plus Home to move to the beginning of the web page.
Link skip the main content. Link skip the footer. I will list dialog. We use cookies to view our offline. Some
So we use cookies.
Menu bar, menu item button, sign in, menu item button, store, menu item button, contact us, menu item button, help, menu item button, my account. Our menu bar, link graphic, text, home. Select. Combo box collects required groceries.
Okay, let's see if this combo box is accessible here. So select.
Select combo box, go left arm. Recipes.
Yeah, that works.
Okay,
Great.
we can't see what combo box you're on.
Yeah, I can see it.
You can see it? Okay.
Yeah, it's the drop down on the top right next door to the search.
Left arm. Groceries. Club
Yeah,
card.
you can see
Okay.
it's changing. Yeah.
All right.
Combo box club card collapse required. Search box edit
So
required.
technically, how do you make technically, how do you make this accessible? How do you make a drop down accessible for our audience?
So basically, you press. In my case, let's say that this is not my first time visiting this website. So I press C
Select combo box collapse required club card.
to move to the next combo box, and then I press enter to open it, and the
Select
menu should appear.
groceries. Club
And
card.
then I move down and up,
Recipes.
recipes, and then press enter.
Expanded list recipes.
So it says again the recipes. I can press tab,
Select combo box recipes collapse required.
and it's like select combo box recipes.
Search box edit required. Search button collapsed. Select combo box
You
recipes collapse
probably can
required.
press enter
Expanded
here.
list recipes. Select combo box recipes collapse required. Search box edit required. Search button collapsed. Menu bar groceries menu button. Search button collapsed.
And search.
Yeah, you're in the search box now.
Menu bar groceries menu button collapsed. Submenu menu item. Out of menu bar afternoon heading level 1. Reducing your risk of type 2 IDs. Discover
So
your risk.
enter doesn't help.
List with 3. Select combo box collapse required recipes. Select combo box recipes collapse required. Expanded list recipes. Club card recipes. Select combo box recipes collapse required. Search box edit required. Search button collapsed. Menu bar groceries menu button collapsed. Submenu menu afternoon heading reducing your risk. Command effort.
Okay, it sounds like it's
No next combo box. List with select combo box collapse required recipes. Select club card. Groceries. Expanded list groceries. Select combo box groceries collapse required. Select
So
combo box
you're on the.
club card. Groceries. Expanded
So
list.
what you're trying to do is that actually going to
Select
that section,
grocery.
but yeah, select. You're on groceries, but if you press enter, it should take you there, and it's not taking you there. Is that what's happening?
yes.
Select combo box groceries collapse expanded list groceries. Club card.
Club card.
Select combo box club card collapse required.
Enter, and it's like it's selected.
Expanded list club card.
Yeah,
Select combo box club card collapse required. Expanded list club
we
select
can't. So we're in another dead end, basically.
collapse.
Okay. So, okay. I think we have sufficiently demonstrated that even,
thank you,
even
Anne.
I think, even a store, and we haven't even gone through the process of trying to register or buy something, it's even for me as a part-time keyboard user, I have an inflammation in my right arm, which forces me to navigate sites by keyboard. Also, for me, this site was an incredible challenge. So, and that's the same. Like you're going into a store, and everything is on the top shelf, and you can't reach it. So, making your site accessible, your web shop accessible, will boost conversions in general. Where are you going now, Lazar?
We're not able to do anything here.
So recipes, it sounds like it's selected, no?
Recipes.
Yeah, it is selected.
Yeah.
So basically, here's a trick.
Combo box collapse required recipes.
You have to open the combo box.
Select combo box recipes. Club card.
That happens. And then press Alt plus down arrow.
Expanded list.
This is
Right.
NVDA command to expand the combo box.
Recipes. Club card.
And then you can, let's say, club card.
Select combo box club card collapse required.
It should be selected now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is how it works here. So this combo box is accessible, I would say, with a bit of screen reader knowledge.
Right.
Yeah. Now here's the thing.
That's
Lazar grew up with it. Huh?
Sorry, Amber. That's very like triggering question for me. What are the accessibility criteria? Because I'm quite sure that after we disabled slides and we were able to, select the recipes or to use combo box, okay, with a bit of knowledge, this website is pretty much accessible. I mean, I could order from here somehow. What is the criteria when we say this is accessible or this is not?
Well, it's that's quite a number of criteria, and that would of course be for you to use it. It should be usable. Sorry, is there someone here in the background?
No.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, just a second.
So you feel like now that you've got, but don't you feel, Lazar, that you were made to go through unnecessarily, sort of rings of fire in order
Yeah, but-
to get
yeah,
to a
but
point where
definitely
you can.
if I would be on my own, so let's say that I would never. So first, I don't think I would be able to disable the slide.
Right. And also, why would you? You just go somewhere else.
Definitely, yeah. But combo box is quite doable. I think I would, yeah, I would, because I had those cases. But disabling the slide would not be possible without sighted assistance.
Right. There you go. So
Yeah.
that's extraordinary. Yeah.
Yes. Now, I really, as much as I love your question, Lazar, I
Yep.
think if we get into what kind of criteria would make a site accessible, I think all of WP Accessibility Day is about that. And there's tons of information to find about it and to share about it. But I think that the main goal of today is actually to talk about how web shops can do better to talk to address more people. And of course, being accessible to anybody is one of the most important things. And it's like, I always find it difficult, when I speak to people who are fully blind like you are, because we're talking about, yeah, you have to make it visually attractive. And to you, that's like, yeah, sure, I don't know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
And I think I would like to compare that to smell. If you're passing by 3 restaurants and they are all selling the same dishes, and restaurant number 1 doesn't really smell that good, you're going to walk by. And if in restaurant number 2, with the same kind of menu, has a lot of noise, you don't want to be sitting there. Nobody does. And then you come at the 3rd restaurant, and there is nice background music, and the smells from the kitchen are delicious. That's where people go, and that's where they leave their money.
Yeah. So I think that now it would be really interesting to see Lazar's favorite site, because I think that brings out a very interesting aspect of it that we commented on. So I think it would be really great to see that now, Lazar, your favorite sites to shop.
All right. So is it the store or another one?
I can't remember which one was it, Anne. Do you remember the one that you feel like is the most wonderfully accessible site for you?
The Braille store.
Oh yeah, I
Braille
showed
store,
that
yes.
on the previous session. So sorry if it will be if you are going to hear and see the same thing twice for those who are watching this.
Blind help.
So that's a blind help project with there is no doubt.
Yes.
Visioning a brighter tomorrow through the lens of technology.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Link skip the search area. Graphic logo. Graphic heading level 1 with vision bright heading level 2 search. Edit search site.
And then there is a search.
Search. No next combo box.
Okay, see, no next combo box.
Thursday, November 3rd. Search edit search site.
Search edit.
No next edit field.
No next edit field.
Search. Link skip graphic heading level vision heading level search. Edit link decrease heading increase default text link increase text heading level with 5 items link home. Link software.
Software.
Software blind help project.
Check out this combo box. I press C
Category combo box.
and I press enter.
Category combo box. Technical activator for Microsoft products. Backup and restore. Quick reference. CD DVD tools. Compression and archiving.
Super easy.
Educational. File sharing. Expanded list. File sharing. Category combo box. File sharing. Operating system. Search button. Reset button. Goal wave remote operating systems. Reset. Search button.
Yeah.
Monday, September 4th, 2017.
So, Lazar, if I may butt in, the thing that we found so interesting about this site is that Lazar adores it because it makes your life so easy. But for us, as we look at it, we find it quite problematic. I mean, it's got contrast issues, it's got big layout issues, it's got typography issues. So for us to pass this visually, for those of us who use vision as our first way of interpreting a website, it's not an easy site. But the thing is, it's the blind help project, so it's not for us really. But I thought it was so interesting. It's like, because Lazar told us, do you want to see the most accessible, best site? And so he took us here, and we were like, wow, this is not accessible. So it's really interesting and so much food for thought, I feel, in looking at something like this. And I am actually using the verb look on purpose.
Yeah.
you know what's really interesting about this, and we've discussed this as we've seen this website before. If I wanted to do a blind person a big favor and say buy something for his or her their birthday, I would ask, like, what are your favorite products? And if Lazar would tell me, oh, those products are on this website, I would have to go there and remember that this site has been technically designed for someone who is blind. Now imagine, and this is again with the comparison of the smell in the restaurants, if this website would have a big commercial interest in selling more products, so their products get spread more and more people are being helped by using these products, it would help if the website was also visually attractive. And this is always that topic where we harrow, if that's a correct expression, about technically fully accessible or usable or attractive, or all of it at the same time, because it's incredibly attractive to Lazar, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have one more question for you, Lazar.
Okay.
If you were coming on to Tesco.com and we told you can buy groceries there, didn't you expect that you could get to in the top menu of this website? It has all that: groceries, F clothing. I can't see it; it's very small for me right now. But you ended up in this slider. Didn't that surprise you?
Yes, especially because I did not expect that. When you told me about their accessibility policy, I was very, pleasantly surprised, very pleasantly. And
yeah, the thing is, on one hand, they did great, and on the other hand, feels like they leaned back very comfortably and thought, okay, we've made this accessible one time, and bye, it's okay now. I also discovered some other things. Yeah. Another question: does it ever bother you if the heading order in a site is weird?
Well, to be honest, it does, but that is not the crucial thing that I would use to say to assess the accessibility. Sure, the headings that are correct, that are organized correctly, is just like cherry on the cake. But I personally believe that there are more urgent accessibility issues that websites and web stores need to take care about.
What's the first thing for you? Is it that shortcut that Tesco was missing, or am I?
For me, yes. Now, please keep in mind that I have been using a screen reader since 2004. And it might be that those things are not the first priority to someone who is brand new. I don't know how a person who just started using the screen reader could feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe for me, headings are not the most important priority, but for someone who just started, yes. So that's why it's important to include this.
All right, Lazar, I'm going to have to drop you there. Yeah, thanks, guys. Really, that was just Pisha, Lazar, Anna. That was just such a great eye-opening experience, and from everyone that was participating, just what a really humbling experience watching the difficulties that we had going through that website. And I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as I did. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be coming back for the lightning rounds. My name is Devin Egger. I'm from HDC, a senior developer. And just make sure to talk about your experience on the social medias, hashtag WPA11YDAY and hashtag WPAD2022. We'll be back shortly with the lightning talks.